Welcome back to Car Vibes, and today we are taking a nostalgic deep dive into a car that represents an important part of Plymouth's history, the 1980 Plymouth Sport Satellite. This vehicle stands as a bridge between the classic American muscle era of the late 60s and 70s and the changing automotive landscape of the 1980s. By the time this model arrived, Plymouth was transitioning away from raw muscle cars into more versatile, comfort-oriented designs, but the Sport Satellite still carried a strong presence and personality. It was designed to appeal to drivers who wanted a stylish and capable car that offered comfort for daily use yet still retained hints of that muscle heritage. Looking at the front end of the Plymouth Sport Satellite, the design is unmistakably late 70s moving into 80s. It features a squared-off fascia with a wide grille that stretches across the nose, framed by rectangular dual headlamps that give it a serious, bold expression. The chrome accents highlight the grille and bumper, bringing out that premium look Plymouth wanted to project. The hood lines are simple but strong, with a slightly raised center section that hints at the power underneath. It was not as aggressively sculpted as the muscle cars of a decade earlier, but it still commanded respect when you saw it coming down the road. From the side, the Sport Satellite carries a more formal, squared body style. The proportions are generous, with long doors, a stretched roofline, and clean, straight character lines that give it a solid and purposeful stance. The wheel arches are slightly flared, accommodating steel wheels with chrome trim rings or optional alloy wheels that enhanced its sporty appearance. The profile shows off its two-door coupe form, but it's longer and less compact than earlier models, leaning more into comfort and practicality while still maintaining its sporty image. The design speaks of an era when American cars grew larger and more imposing, and the Satellite was no exception. At the rear, the Plymouth Sport Satellite continues its straightforward yet stylish approach. The taillights are wide and rectangular, connected with chrome trim that spans across the trunk. The rear bumper, also chrome, gives the car a touch of shine, while the simple trunk lid design emphasizes functionality. The overall rear styling is clean and balanced, but still in line with the boxy trends of the time. It may not have had the wild spoilers or muscle cues of earlier Plymouth performance cars, but it presented itself as a confident cruiser with a strong road presence. Inside the 1980 Sport Satellite, Plymouth focused on comfort, space, and features that would appeal to drivers moving into the new decade. The interior is roomy, with wide bench or optional bucket seats that provided good comfort for long drives. Materials included cloth or vinyl upholstery depending on trim level, and there was generous use of padded surfaces on the dash and doors. The dashboard is rectangular and functional, featuring large analog gauges for speed, fuel, and temperature, with optional extras like a tachometer. Controls for the radio, air conditioning, and ventilation are neatly arranged, reflecting a more driver-friendly layout than earlier Plymouths. While it was not overly luxurious, it provided a comfortable and pleasant environment, suitable for both daily commuting and weekend road trips. Under the hood, the Plymouth Sport Satellite offered a range of engines to suit different buyers. The standard setup included a modest inline-six engine, which was aimed at economy and practicality. However, for drivers wanting more performance, Plymouth offered V8 options ranging from small blocks to larger displacements. The V8-equipped models brought back some of that muscle-era spirit, delivering stronger acceleration and a more engaging driving experience. Power output by 1980 standards was lower than the high-horsepower days of the 60s due to emissions regulations and fuel concerns, but the Sport Satellite still managed to provide solid performance, particularly with the larger engines. Handling was comfortable, with a suspension tuned more for cruising than aggressive driving, but it remained stable and confident on the open road. Pricing for the Plymouth Sport Satellite in 1980 placed it in an accessible range for midsize American coupes. It was more affordable than high-end luxury cars but carried enough style and features to feel special. The base models were budget-friendly, while higher trims and V8-equipped versions came at a premium, making them attractive to buyers who wanted more performance without jumping into a full-on muscle car. In today's classic market, surviving Sport Satellites from this era offer enthusiasts a chance to own a piece of Plymouth history without the sky-high prices of earlier muscle icons. For those considering this car back in the day, the Sport Satellite was an appealing blend of style, comfort, and a dash of performance. It was not as raw or aggressive as Plymouth's Road Runner or GTX from the years before, but it was a practical and stylish choice that fit the needs of a changing automotive market. The 1980 Plymouth Sport Satellite represents a fascinating snapshot in time. It captured the transition of American cars from the muscle era into something more refined and practical, while still holding onto the DNA that made Plymouth special. It's a car that balanced style with usability and gave buyers a strong, reliable cruiser with just enough flair to stand out. Thanks for watching this review here on Car Vibes, and if you enjoyed exploring this classic, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks at the vehicles that shaped automotive history.